Southern Vanguard Radio. This is DJ John Doe, and to the left of me is my man.
Woo. 100 Proof Chino.
Woo. Cappuccino me.
Shouts out to Billy Northern. We thank you, man. We drinking something serious tonight.
Look, I knew that A3C show was off to a good start when that guy walks up to the DJ booth or whatever you want to call it and hands me $25 and is like, man, go get you a bottle, man. You deserve it after the night.
It's crazy. That's crazy. That's just how epic the night was.
It was. That just, I didn't really think about that until now, but that was really like, I knew that the shit was going to be wild that night.
Yeah.
When it started off like that. You can't beat that.
Yeah, man.
So peace to my man, Billy. That guy's got an ill story too, because I actually at one point toyed with the idea of taking of disabling the downloads for the SoundCloud on the SoundCloud page.
Okay.
Just because not many people do it. And,
Yeah, we get about 4 per episode.
But you know what? He's one of the ones every time. And I'll tell you why I'm not going to do it. This guy actually drives a truck for Walmart.
Yeah.
And because he drives a truck, he can't use his cell phone. So every week he downloads the mix and the interview session onto a USB key.
Okay.
And he can play that in his truck. So for all y'all that love the downloads out there for the show every week.
Hey man, that's dedication, right?
That's real shit. You know what I mean?
Shit.
That touched me a little bit.
Again, shouts out to you and thank you for this this 10-year bottled and bond straight Kentucky bourbon that we are sipping on right now. Thank you so much.
Beautiful too.
Billy, you are the man.
Yes, sir. All right, Mix, how are you, man?
I'm all right, man. Long week.
You were in my hood on Saturday,
I was,
man.
all day.
Yeah,
all
man.
day long, man, and broke out to come see my favorite lineman, number 50, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, play for Marietta Middle. The whole game. He does not come out of the game at all. Plays both sides of the ball. He is a baller.
I told you, people
Shouts
don't
out
believe
to
it.
Rose, man.
Yeah, man. He had a couple sacks. Actually, after you left, he had a couple of clean sacks.
Really?
Yeah, man. He was crushing it on Saturday, man. I'm proud of him.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. They're gonna find themselves in the playoffs, I think. In
all
a couple
good.
Of weeks, so we'll see.
Good. But yeah, that's why I was out there.
Your girl smashed it, right?
Yeah, we was in the playoffs, finished in the top 4. So we got a game next Saturday. I'm gonna be out this way again, Kennesaw Mountain.
Oh,
High.
are you? Okay,
yeah.
all right.
11 a.m.
next week.
Yeah, next weekend, next Saturday.
All right. I need to come by and see your girls play because I hadn't seen them play
yet.
yet.
If you got time, man, come through. Right.
Or your girl, I guess, is just more playing now.
Yeah, all of them ain't my girls. I wouldn't have them.
You wouldn't have them.
I wouldn't have some of them. Jesus, no.
Oh, Lord. All right, cool. Woo. All right, well, good for you, man.
Yeah, man.
So real quick, let's get down to business real quick. We have a super duper special interview tonight. But before we do that, if this is the first time you're listening, you're quite possibly a fan of the gentleman we have on the phone tonight.
You better be.
You better be.
You better be.
Or maybe you're already a listener and you tune in every week. Regardless. Thank you. Welcome. We drop twice a week on Tuesdays. It's a mix show. Latest and greatest hip hop cut up by myself, me and Meeks hosting, just talking shit, drinking 100 proof, having a good time. And then on Thursdays, we have an interview session with an MC, DJ, producer, A&R, behind the scenes somebody or whatever, just people that we fuck with really. So
no doubt.
Make sure you follow us on SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Stitcher Radio, Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube now. We're trying to get some shit popping on Spotify, so we're just trying to land and expand here in the last bit of 2018, and we have a number of affiliates as well. Meeks,
yeah. Shouts out to X Squad Radio. Shouts out to my man Kesey on making that happen. ATLHipHop.com, IronClassicRawRadio.net, Return to the BoomBap Radio, WRBB, all of those in Atlanta, and then we venture out to the West Coast with my man X-Row. Soul Public Radio out west.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Well, hey, homie, I don't know if our little podcast is worthy of
what we're about to do right now.
Who we talking to tonight? Outside of Sean Price, this has got to be the most prestigious individual that we've talked to.
I think it is.
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, kind of funny you say that too, because they're both from Brooklyn.
Well, we about to touch on
all kinds of shit:
house, hip hop, Latin, jazz, funk and soul, reggae, alternative pop, broken beats, polka music. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, this guy runs the gamut, man. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the one and only Kenny Dope.
Wow.
What's up?
The name says it all.
Oh, dude. Kenny, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm chilling. What's the deal? What's up, fellas?
What place around the world are you calling in from tonight? Are you actually in your own home?
I'm actually at the crib in Jersey.
You got that tone. You got the home tone of voice popping off right now. Like you on your favorite couch with your favorite pillow and all types of shit.
Actually, yeah, man. I'm actually laying on the couch right now. That's what's happening.
I know that sound, man. Where you coming from?
Well, now actually, I've been home for a week and a half.
Okay.
It was my triplets' birthday 2 days ago, so we actually took them up to Kalahari. So we just got back a couple hours ago.
Okay.
From an indoor water park in Pennsylvania.
All right.
And everybody sleeps, so I'm just chilling.
How old are they, Kenny?
You know.
How old are they?
4.
Oh man!
Oh, good God, my man!
Yeah. So it's been the last 5 years have been crazy. You know,
man, God bless you, man.
It's all good. Thank you, bro.
Homie, we ought to feel like straight assholes right now.
Yeah, Kenny, we were doing a little bit of complaining before you got onto the phone with us. We have no room when you got triplets, my brother.
Hey man, I got a big juggling act right now.
Big time.
Between the traveling and then personal stuff, family time.
Hell yeah, it's a lot.
It's crazy trying to make records. It's just it's crazy right now.
But and the only thing crazy
it's in a better rhythm right now though. The first 2 years was just chaos.
I believe it. Yeah.
But, so.
And it's funny, a lot of people just can't wrap their heads around that shit, man. But you talking to 2 dudes right now that feel your pain. So we with you, man. We wish you the best, man, for sure.
Nah, I don't want to hear nobody complaining about one kid.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
Not at all.
3.
You'll be like, man, shut up.
Word.
Hell yeah.
Word.
So Kenny, we connected with you through the one and only Rasheed Chappell.
Shouts out to Rasheed.
And I fanned out a little. I fanned out a little bit actually when you reshared, I guess, a video of me cutting up one of the joints from First Brick. I can't remember what it was, but thank you for the love, man. I appreciate it. It really means a lot to me.
Oh man, come on, man. You playing the joints, you supporting us. We gotta support you back. So that's how it is.
Yes,
that's how that goes.
So Kenny, tell us how things are going with First Brick. It's been out a couple weeks now. Like, what's the response been like? Things looking good for you guys?
Yeah, everything's been great. You know what I mean? A lot of the feedback, actually all the feedback's been very positive. You know what I mean? It took a minute. We're kind of in between projects, and we kind of just decided to do like a 10-cut joint to get it out, you know what I mean? And then it's like, I was just doing what we do. He was just doing what he does. And I just wanted to make a great street record. And the reception has been crazy. So now we're just going to do some adapting to it and expand on it just on this project now, because it's just like, it's pretty crazy. So we got some things coming,
Nice.
So,
all right.
Yeah. I think me and the homie both agree Rasheed is next up, man. And we got to see it up close and personal at the A3C Festival. He got on the stage with every artist we had on the bill.
He did.
Just about.
Okay.
He had a verse with everybody, and I'm just like, dude, I didn't even know this was going down like this. Yeah. Like, so shouts out to Rasheed.
And actually, it was crazy because he came back and he told me about it. He was like, yo, man, like, I did my thing, and then it was like everybody just started calling me up. So I was just like, fuck it, let me just go rock with him. And, you know, some of the dudes he knew, some of the dudes he didn't know, whatever. And it was just like, hey, man, that's what it is. You know, and he's just an all-around great dude.
No doubt.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because when I first heard him on some demos, like probably I think in like 07, I just heard, you know, I heard his lyrics and I heard his, you know, just his tone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is the kid that I've been waiting to work with for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I picked up on that too.
Growing up in Brooklyn, it's just like everything was crew based, and everything was like you had your MC, you had your crew, you had your DJ, and back when I started, it was hard to find that person that you wanted to rock with. You know what I mean? And I kind of held back, you know, all these years. You know, I've done things here and there, sporadically, but on the hip hop side, but. This is the thing that I always wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Really focus on that.
So Kenny, you really just could not find that person or that somebody to work with for that long, huh? Like as long as you've been in the game, it took you a while, huh?
Yeah, it's just like, you know, you either find people and they're nice, but then they get locked up. Dang. Then you find somebody, and then, you know, their work ethic is not there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, so it's a mixture of a lot of different things that has gone on throughout the years, you know, and it's just one of those things that just happened, you know. I would probably say in those, like I said, 07, 08
crazy
is when we connected, and then we did the first album, The Future Before Nostalgia. And then we started working we've been working ever since, you know what I mean? And we got a lot of joints like in the bag, you know, ready to come, like some really crazy stuff. So
that's what's
really
up.
Looking forward to finishing that stuff and getting that out, you know?
Dope. Well, you know, we talked about it before on the show, but we initially got familiar. Well, I initially got familiar with a post from Easy Mo B for the My Epic.
That's my man,
My Epic video. And I picked up on it immediately, man. His tone, his storytelling, the way he presents what he's talking about, it's right there. You know what I mean? So I can understand how you gravitated to that. It was just awesome to see, man. Just awesome to see like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what's up.
So Kenny is Brick and Mortar was the project that was originally supposed to follow Future Before Nostalgia, right? Or
that's good. That's absolutely correct. That's the next album, and then it's just like, you know, we did a little interlude joint, and it ended up to be First Brick. You know what I'm saying? And we put a few songs together, and then it was like, you know what? Let's keep it short and sweet, and let's do it that way. You know what I mean? And that's what we did, pretty much.
So Brick and Mortar you're going to go back and retool that now, or just expand on it, or like did you have a lot of joints done for that already?
Well, pretty much we're probably going to have to go into a few songs because the topics are kind of like they're going to be out of for what, you know, whatever the things that were happening, you know, with the Michael Brown thing and certain shootings and certain politics, and so that's got to get brushed up, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to put something out that's, you know, 2 years or 3 years out of the pocket, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, but primarily everything else is pretty much timeless when it comes to the other songs, but there's a few joints that, you know, like I said, it was just relating to what was going on. You know, the country's just been in chaos for a minute now, and while we've been recording, so we kind of talking about that stuff as well in these records. So, but like I said, that's not that drastic, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the skeleton is there.
It's there already.
You know, we got pretty much. You know, I would say probably 85 to 88% is done.
That's not bad.
And then we just gotta go. We just gotta go in and, like I said, you know, recut certain joints and that's about it. But pretty much everything's mixed because it was due to come out. But like I said, me with the family, the babies, everything just it's been hard to kind of finish things. You know what I'm saying? So
okay. Well, that kind of leads into my next question, Kenny. Like, can you talk about the 7 years between 2011, 2018? Is that pretty much what we're talking about, like family life and other business ventures and things like that?
Yeah. It's what happens is, as we were recording, there was things that were coming to fruition that to me were like third, fourth album kind of songs. You know what I'm saying? Like they were good and great, but to me it was like, you know what? These records will work better when people know who he is, opposed to just putting these things out, because they were just on a whole other level. Dang. You know what I mean? And me just being in the business and being, coming up as a record buyer and producing records and DJing records and, traveling the world, like I can see these things, and, sometimes the artist can get frustrated because it's just like, yo, how many joints are we gonna do? But it's just like, dude, like these records are too good, like, and it's just like they ain't gonna get it right now. So we need to get you with, we create your fan base and we get your followers up, and people into you, and then we drop that shit, because the records are, like I said, they're timeless. You know what I mean? Like, and so though that took a lot, that took some time. We kept recording, and then, the scheduling, just to traveling, then we found out we were going to have the babies and stuff. So that took a turn, and, just adapting to that whole situation, and like I said, the family stuff, and, there's just not enough hours in a day. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was tough. Like, I ain't in the front, like, and I'm a workhorse.
Yeah.
But, it's like, if I'm overseas and I'm coming home, and, you got like 2 days and then you're back and forth, like this year alone has been completely retarded. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I didn't want to miss nothing at home. You know what I mean? So I was just doing dates on the weekends and coming home. So I was home for 2-3 days, then going right back to Europe.
That's what's
going back to France, going back to Germany, going back to London, going to Asia, going, wherever. Going back to Ibiza. I went to Ibiza like 18 times this summer. Like, literally.
God,
like, back, like, I'm not even lying. Like, back and forth. Like, I had 18 shows this summer.
God,
so it's like,
damn.
you don't want to miss nothing, because they're growing, and it's just like you got to get things done.
But
like,
you got to provide too.
So,
that's the other side of it. You got to provide.
What was that?
I say you got to provide too. So I get it.
Yeah.
So the work got to be done. Yeah.
So it was a mixture of a lot of different things. He was going through personal stuff too. Like, so that timer was off. But we here, so better to get busy.
That's all that matters, man, for sure.
Yeah, it takes a lot to keep that focus. You know what I mean? Yeah. Rasheed was mentioning the same thing when we interviewed him a couple weeks ago, Kenny, that took a lot of tenacity on both y'all's parts to just see it through and get this joint done.
And it's crazy because there's so many things that have changed from that first point. You know what I mean? Like, beat wise, and just the sound, things that people that are rapping to. But I'm just like, look, we're just going for the juggler. We're just doing what we do. I want to just do hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really concerned with what everybody else is doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just want to make great records, and I feel that it's missing. You know what I'm saying? For being a head, being like I said, a DJ, and just being a fan of this music, it's just everybody's kind of, the focus has just gone in so many different directions. You know what I'm saying? So, we got somebody that can rock over these beats, and why not do it? You know what I mean?
Kenny, I'm gonna tell you, man, you got a sound that is so needed right now. It's like I don't even know how to explain it.
I know
man.
what it is. It's balls back in the music.
Man,
Music has balls, man.
I mean,
sonically, topically, everything.
Yeah, the masculinity is there. And and I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. It's like it's almost like the joints, they remind you of something you've heard before, but it's just totally different. You know what I mean? And I'm just talking about the backscape, the beat, the production.
Right.
Man, that production is everything. And then you put Rasheed over top of that, and it's magic. You know what I mean? Man. So, man, salute to y'all, man, for real.
Oh, thank you, man. But I come from the days when, one producer made an album, or produced an album. I came up in that, in the 80s and and in the 90s, so it's like, and the producer gives you direction, and the producer goes in different pockets and goes in different tempos and goes into different mood swings, and that's what brings the lyrics out, and that's what brings those songs out.
No doubt.
Now I'm not gonna front, like a lot of the stuff out here today, it's like a big compilation album. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got 12, 15 joints, it's the same record. It's 15 of the same record. You know what I'm saying? The same tempo, the same everything. And it's just like we're missing, and I'm not gonna say we're missing, because we do have Alchemist that does, a whole album. We have Madlib who does a whole album. We have several producers, who will get behind an artist and do a whole album. But we need more of that because of the vision. You know what I'm saying? We need the cadences. We need the different pockets. Yeah. And we need to tell a story and a concept. You know what I mean? And that's what hip hop is, and it's been missing for so long. And I guess, the way of recording has changed because,
big time.
Yeah, what? Somebody's in LA and I need a verse, I need some bars. All right, send me the shit. But the interacting and the being in the studio together is totally different. You know what I'm saying? When we did the Kingsman record, Fame came in. And that's how we used to do records.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm in the studio, write your shit.
That shit makes a difference.
Record it. And it's a vibe.
Yeah.
It's so different. You know what I mean? And that's what I come from, not this, send me these bars and put it in where there's no interaction and So we're looking at doing more of that because that's the way it's supposed to be done.
So Kenny, you mentioned the kind of the shift in technology over the years, and that was perfect because I was actually going to ask you a somewhat a related question. How have things changed for you technology-wise from a production standpoint? Or maybe
I'm still the same animal. I still think the same.
Okay.
But what it's done for me is I'm able to create on the plane now because I don't have to wait till I come home to chop up some stuff or do some things. You know what I mean? So now my process is a little different. So what I'll do is I'll go through periods and pockets where I'll record a lot of music. You know what I'm saying? I'll record my soundtracks. I go through different soul stuff or funk or whatever. And then I make folders. And then when it's time, like when I get on the plane and I got, 7 to 10 hours to kill because I'm on a flight to Japan or something, I just get busy and I just do stuff. So I'm able to keep on that side. That's where the technology is great.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But, and then, now it's obviously in my laptop, you can have, pretty much like $500,000 to $1 million worth of equipment, of stuff or plugins and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When I started, you needed to be in a full studio.
Right.
Yeah, you needed to be in a studio that cost millions of dollars, not have millions
of dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But you know what? What's crazy is even though I'm on the planes and doing the stuff, when I get back, it goes into, Pro Tools or whatever. And when we do the vinyl, which is so key right now, because a lot of the stuff that these guys are putting out, these vinyl records sound like digital.
Oh, it sounds like shit because they're not mastering for vinyl.
You know what I mean? So our process is, even though it's digital and we recorded in Pro Tools or whatever the case may be, when that mix down is getting mixed to tape and it's being mastered from tape.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And when you play that vinyl, it's like a record. It's like
you
you're
already
playing
know
a
what
record
it
from
is.
the 90s because
Hell yeah.
it's what it is, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
Hell yeah.
You know, because I just feel like the consumers and the fans are getting cheated right now because a lot of people don't know the process of how this was done. You know what I'm saying? And how to do it. You know what I mean? Because like I said, you get some of these 45s and some of these 12-inch albums, and it sounds like you're playing CDs.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah. I know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know.
So, but now we could talk about technology shit all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all I want to say about
it's
technology is, Kenny, please don't lose that laptop. Whatever you do, guard that motherfucker with your life, homie.
Nah. You know, it's like I said, that, you know, stuff's on drives and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, you know, and back to the initial question, it's just like I want, you know, I'm doing joints that I want to hear. You know what I mean? And how I want to hear it. I want to hear them joints bapping and you know, I want to hear those melodies coming through. I want the lyrics to be there.
Yeah.
Those hooks to be there. I'm just kind of making music that I want to hear. You know what I'm saying?
That's important.
And I always keep that in the back of my head when we're doing this stuff, you know? So.
Yo, Kenny, do me a favor, man. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. The homie John Doe.
Get out of here.
Yeah, the homie John Doe is from Glasgow, Kentucky.
The sticks.
Okay.
Yeah, we fell in love with hip hop and music in general in our, you know, prospective hometowns, right? What I need you to do for me right now, being from Brooklyn, being Puerto Rican, paint a picture for us of you DJing a hood block party in 1985. I've seen footage sparingly, but you were there. I would like to hear, like, damn near in real time what that shit was like, man.
What's crazy is that, you know, 85 I was 15. You know what I'm saying? So that's when all that stuff was popping. What the craziest thing is being in a neighborhood that you're surrounded by all different types of people. You know what I'm saying? So Sunset Park, you're in Brooklyn. To the right of you got Italian that are listening to high energy, whatever disco kind of stuff. You got on top of you have Jewish people and Chinese people, and then to the left of you got Jamaicans and African Americans. You know what I'm saying? And then you got us in the middle that played Latin music and played soul and all that kind of stuff. That alone, being growing up in New York, you know, definitely instilled something really, really retarded in me because I was surrounded by all these different types of people, all these different types of foods, all this different type of music. You know what I'm saying? And when I first got the job at the record store, I had to sell this music. And when I first tried to get the job, and I was just like, look, you know, I want to work or whatever, he was like, look, you know, if you want to work here, you need to learn about all this music. Not thinking that by him just telling me that and working in that store, I learned about rock stuff. And later on, started learning about breaks and all that kind of stuff. And the soul and the jazz and the funk came from all that, you know, but it was just New York as a melting pot. You know what I mean? And then, you know, so the second part with the block parties, you know, the whole block party thing started because in the hood, you know, they would go and get, you know, signatures from all the parents on the block and to close the block off. You know what I mean? So they went to the local police station and they got the permit.
Yeah.
And then you were able to close the block. So then they used to go, the association used to go and get, you know, parents would, you know, give $5 or $10 each, you know, whatever. And then they would go and get some rides and hire a DJ or whatever the case may be. Or if they couldn't get a DJ, that's when people brought out their set.
Okay.
So that's how that whole thing started, you know, like in the 70s and 80s. And that was we used to look forward to that, you know, twice in the summer.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's hot, pump is open.
Yeah.
That was our pool, that was our beach, that was our, you know, that was our party. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
And you gotta realize, like, being in Brooklyn, like, I had dudes that never went into New York City from the block. That's all they knew was the block. That was it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so when I started traveling and going out, and dudes was just like, yo, you going there, bro? And I'm just like, look, man, y'all motherfuckers got to just get the fuck up out of here. Like,
you know, right?
Nah, you know, because, you know,
that's real.
It's just a creature of habit, you know what I mean? Because you got the brother, the father, you know, did his street shit, you know, dealt their drugs, and that's all they knew. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know nothing else. They just that's all they did. You know what I mean? And it was just like, look, man, there's a big world out there. Like, so they used to bug out on my stories coming back. You know what I mean? But that was our out. You know what I mean? We wasn't, you know, and that's something else. Like, talking about that, like, when I was traveling to Europe, you know, the families in Europe are accustomed. You see kids, you know, a couple with their 1-year-old baby traveling, 2, 3, 4, 5-year-olds traveling. Like, we wasn't brought up like that.
Right.
You know, our families didn't have money to go on these vacations like that.
Man,
you know
we
what I'm saying?
just kind of talking about that,
So we went to Coney Island. We went to Manhattan Beach. That was our vacation.
Still on the block
for the day, and other dudes were just on the block.
Yeah,
and then they would look forward to those two, like I said, those 2 block parties a year.
Yeah,
and that was it. And that's where you heard the music, and that's where that's how that whole thing started, and that's how it was.
Nice.
Kenny, I have a question for you, because your career and your story, goddamn, we could talk to you for hours upon end. But the question I have for you that I like to ask folks is, when did you realize you had something, you kind of had this thing figured out and you can make a go at this? Like, was it a particular night when you were DJing, or was it, you know, meeting this person, or like, when did you think this thing was going to pan out for you?
Yeah, well, pretty much, you know, like I said, I had my crew. They were much older than me. These dudes were doing their thing, and they always was like, "Look, you know, you're not us. You're a good kid. You know, focus on the music. You know what I'm saying? And you don't need to be up here. You know what I mean? And that kept me focused and kept me grounded. You know what I mean? So what I would do is, I would just do tracks and do beats and got into that. But the other thing was, like, I hated school. Like, I just, like, and I was passing school with no problem, but I hated school so much because every day I was going to school and it was a fight every day. I went to a school that was primarily all white, Italian, and they used to fuck with the black kids and the Puerto Rican kids every fucking day.
Yeah.
Every day was just a war. So I got to the point, like, I went through high school all the way to the 12th grade. Dude, do you know that I dropped out with 4 credits that I needed?
Wow.
And they were all gym classes. you know what I'm saying?
Hold up, Kenny. Why you? What you have against PE, man?
Nah. I just never made it to my gym was the first fucking period.
Cutting class.
You know
you never made it.
So,
you were late.
Just late.
Nah, I wasn't late. I just didn't want to be fucking sweaty.
You want to go in that motherfucker.
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
But truth be told, like, I just got tired of fighting every day. Yo, my man's was like, we used to carry hammers in our bag. Like, it was just like, and I'm not talking about guns. I'm talking about hammers.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
It was just fucking crazy. And, you know, there was one huge fight, and that was it. I left. I never went back. And I was like, you know what? My mom was like, look, I'm not going back to school. I'm not going to college. I'm doing music. She was like, what?
Wow.
And I'm just like, I'm doing music. And I said, I promise you, I'm doing music. And that was it. And that I made up my mind, and that was it. And I went full blast, and I just kept chipping away at it. You know what I mean? Till I did what I did.
Awesome.
Damn, that's ill.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. I ain't mad at you. That's the realest shit ever, man.
Yo, I got an ill story. I got to tell real quick to kind of piggyback off of Kenny's story about being a record buyer.
Yeah.
So, because I've been thinking all weekend about this interview and what I was going to ask you and what I was going to talk to you about, and I specifically remember. So to give you a little, I guess, perspective, Kenny, I graduated from high school in '95. I graduated from college in '99. Okay, so when I was in college, I did college radio for 4 years and some years after that, and I'm one of the few people in the world who are lucky enough to have a job at a record store, because record stores barely exist now, unfortunately. But I did work I worked at a Music Land, right, in the mall. And so I was in there always trying to put people up on some different shit. And there were 2 records during my college career and during my time at Music Land, because Music Land turned into Sam Goody, and then Sam Goody shut down, and I lost my job, my part-time job at the record store. But anyway, there were 2 records that I put people on through my tenure there, and one of them was DJ Shadow's Introducing, and the other one was the joint you did, the New Yorican Soul joint. And man, it's incredible, man. I mean, you gotta, just to paint this picture for you, I also went to college in this little small town, right in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. And I can't tell you how many copies of Introducing in New Yorican Soul I sold in probably the 2.5 to 3 year time frame that I was at Music Land, man.
That's crazy.
Hey, I was putting it on for you, dude. I was putting it on for you in the middle of Kentucky, Kitty. I promise.
Kenny, send him a plaque, man. Send him a plaque. He need a plaque.
Nah, that's what's up, man.
That was a great record,
Kentucky
dude.
You from?
Small town called Glasgow. It's a 90 miles north of Nashville. It's just between Nashville and Louisville.
Oh wow, you familiar with Lexington?
I'm very familiar with Lexington. Yes.
You know Manziel Bush is from Lexington, Kentucky.
I did not know that. How did I not know that?
You know the record, Midnight Theme and Space Funk?
Yeah, you did an edit of that. Yeah. Two breakbeats. Yeah.
He's from Kentucky.
I did not know that. Nice. You put that out on my homie Egon's label, right?
Nah, that was on a imprint called Dope Brother that we reissued.
Oh, you reissued? Okay.
We put out the original. Yeah, reissued the original album.
Oh, the whole album.
But nah, okay.
The Manziel joint.
It was only 2 singles.
Right.
That came out back in like 71 or 72 or something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
And then we ended up doing finding him and doing a full length, because the record never came out. So we ended up reissuing the whole album.
So wait, did you go to Lexington, Kentucky? Did you visit him in Lexington?
Nah, he actually we found him in D.C. He was a retired colonel.
Okay.
So he was in the military, so he was down in D.C. and he relocated, and he was still down there. So we actually went that way. But his guitar, the original guitar player, is still there. He's still there.
Is in Lexington. Okay, that's ill. I did not know that.
Oh,
that's one of your passions, Kenny. Talk. Are you still doing a lot of kind of reissue and doing edits and things like that on KD?
Yeah, like I said, this year I pretty much, besides Rasheed, much took off the whole year, because it was just like I'll be just on the road. You know what I mean? But now we got a gang of things in store with the reissues and new stuff, and 45s coming on box sets and all kinds of things, brewing for the end of the year to 2019.
Okay, dope.
But there's a lot of stuff. But I just wanted to touch on something real quick, because you were just talking about New York. So pretty much, that, I don't know if you're familiar how that project came about, but it basically was me and Louis wanted to do a record, basically paying homage to all our heroes of music that we were into, and styles that we were into. That's why that record's in so many different pockets. You got your land stuff, you got your soul, you got your, the disco stuff, the broken beat, So that's basically what that was. And then, nobody understood the concept. No labels wanted to take it. So what we did was we ended up starting the project, recording it, and then we started bringing in guests, and then we shopped it at the end when it was done. And then, pretty much the rest is history.
Nice. We're talking about Louis Vega, right, Kenny? Just to be clear.
Yeah. Little. Now there's two Louis Vegas. So little Louis Vega was the other half of me with Masters at Work. There's Louis Vega, who did work with 45 King and Queen Latifah.
Oh, okay.
And that's at the end, Flavor Unit. And that's a different Louis Vega. That's Louis Fat Cat Vega.
Gotcha.
So they get them confused all the time.
Okay.
Glad I asked. But yeah.
That's what's up.
So Kenny, anybody ever sampled your guys' version of Nautilus? And not grab Bob's joint?
I don't think so.
No?
Actually.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Oh, I actually was listening to the album over the weekend, and I was just wondering. I was like, I wonder if anybody went back and grab that instead of grabbing the original. I don't know, just to maybe it's easier. I don't know.
Yeah, he's kind of funny though, Bob James. He's a funny dude. He's a funny dude, man. and let me tell you, I love them two albums. Like. I could listen to those, especially Bob James one. I could listen to that shit over and over and over, and just to hear every other bar is a different record, and how it influenced so many people and so many producers, so many records, and he's not a fan of the music, and it's kind of, it's kind of a letdown, you know what I mean? So
he's DJing now too. I saw he was DJing in Japan or something like that a couple weeks ago.
I did see some footage about that. He looked awkward as hell. Bob James.
Who?
Bob.
He was not DJing.
Man, he was behind two turntables looking awkward as hell.
I'll shoot you the link. I'll shoot you the video, Kenny.
Nah, I don't even play around.
Kenny, I would not make this up. This is not something I would joke about.
Yeah, you need to send me that.
I'll send it to you. I hope it's fake, honestly. But I don't know.
It didn't look fake.
Dude, I thought the same exact thing. I looked at that video probably 150 times trying to figure out, is this really that dude? There's no way.
That was that dude.
Nah. After so much stuff that he's talked about DJs and producers,
right?
And if he's actually doing that, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yep. For sure.
Kenny, what do you look for when you go to the record store these days, man? I can't imagine what your collection looks like. What are you looking for right now?
Collection is deep, but dude, we're students, man. We're students of this music, and every day you learn about something new.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of them dudes that sits here and say, "Oh, I got everything." Nah.
Right.
Let's be real. Look at all the years from 60 all the way up, 1960 all the way up.
Yeah.
Can you think about how much stuff has been recorded in all these years?
I know.
Let's say from 60 to 74 alone. Let's just take those years.
Stop.
And let's break down the genres. You know what I'm saying? And then you start going into countries.
Yeah.
There's just so much music, and I just love good songs. When I first started, I was just looking for breaks and stuff like that, but that's just a natural introduction to it.
Yeah,
but now it's about finding good records and good songs, and records that you could play the whole song and play out and teach people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I just love to hear something that I've never heard before. You know what I mean? It could be Indian stuff. It could be, prog rock, which I'm all over. You know, I love that stuff. You know, I love fuzz guitars. You know, I love black rock music actually too, because it's just like a soulful influence. Yeah. You know, the Hendrix stuff and and you know, groups like Black Murder, which is like crazy. You know what I mean? Like just Lee Moses. Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar, but if you're not, you should definitely check those
Kenny,
out.
I don't know why John asked you that, man. He got half of this shit you talking about, man. Like I don't even know, man. Like this dude right here, forget about it, man. This dude,
I don't have that,
man. This dude is a wild boy. I'm telling you, on these records and shit.
No, it's a smidge. It's a smidge compared to this guy, right?
Yo, he gonna be able to send his kids to college off his record collection. I'm telling you,
that's not true.
All 4 of them.
That's not true.
No, and have some records left over.
Yeah, but the way you got to look at it is those are our books. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were a fan of reading books, you went, you know, you got a library in your crib, or you went to the library and you read. Like this is my library. Like that's what I go to for inspiration. Right. That's where I go to, you know, if I feel a certain way and I don't feel good one day or whatever, let me listen to that album. You know what I'm saying? Or let me listen to some records. You know, and that's how it all sparks. You know, sometimes you might not feel like making beats or whatever, or you play some music and it just inspires you to create.
That's a start.
You know, so there's not a better library for a DJ, musician, or a music lover than having a great collection and having a collection of different stuff and different things that you could dip into, you know, in different pockets. You know, so
very true.
I'm always constantly learning about something. There's always going to be that record that we never heard before, or like I said, you could show me some shit. You'd be like, yo, listen to this. And you know what? Because that was a local record that you found, or your pop gave you, or your uncle, or whatever, or your uncle played to death, and you'd be like, you know what? This was a local record. You know, you got to realize that those local records were made by bands that just sold them at their shows. And if those bands only went to 3 states or 4 states touring,
that's a limited edition.
Those records were only sold in those 3 states. So chances are they didn't make it to New York.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or make it to the tri-state. So that in itself, there's just so much still out there to realize that I've been digging since 86 hard. And I'm still uncovering stuff. So that just shows you how much stuff has been done. You know what I mean?
Hey, Kenny, you mentioned a him when you were trying to get the job as a record buyer. Who is that? Because is that your original teacher right there? Who was that?
His name was Joe Gregorio. He's actually in the outskirts of Detroit. Like he moved to Detroit. He's in Michigan somewhere. And I still keep in touch with him. And you know what's crazy is I love that dude because he instilled some morals and instilled things in me that I still move with today. You know what I'm saying? Like just the open mind, just don't shut things down. And, you know, you got to learn about, like we were just talking about, like how you don't know everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's one turn off for me when somebody comes and they give you that energy that they know it all. Because I'm like, dude, I'm 48. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to learn. I'm still uncovering shit. I'm still studying. I'm still, you know what I mean? So it's like, don't give me that. Don't feed off that energy. So, but yeah, he was dope, man. Like he just taught me, you know, just from being at the store, you learn the business side of things. You know what I'm saying? How just records coming in and just being, you know, just being in the business environment, you know, which I didn't have anybody in my family that ran businesses or ran stores or, you know, did any of that kind of stuff. So that instilled, you know, having your own label, you know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff. Like he was the first person, he actually introduced me to, he was friends with owners that own New Groove Records. Okay. So that's how I had my first releases come out. You know what I'm saying? Through that label. And they actually gave me an imprint. And I never forget, like, another person, his name is Frank Mendes. He was the guy that bought me my SB 1200 and my 950.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that was my advance. 2 machines.
Oh, wow.
Make some records. Go make some records.
That's a hell of an advance right there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what? It, like everything else, like the royalties didn't matter. Like that, I wasn't getting paid on records and whatever. It didn't matter because you know what? He gave me my start.
Yeah,
that was your shot. That was your shot.
Exactly. So
we're talking about labels, Kenny.
People,
I'm sorry, talking about labels, man. Talk to us about your label, KD Records, man.
Well, pretty much, that was started as a reissue label because I'm playing these 45s out, these rare records, these $2,000 records, these $1,500 records, and kids are coming up and they're like, "Oh, what's that?" And I'm like, man, this kid is never going to be able to afford this record. Mind you, find it. So that sparked the concept of starting an imprint to reissue, to source masters and reissue, these songs. And that's what I started doing. And then, it just kept going from there. And then, as time went on, like I said, I always wanted to do the hip hop stuff, and it was the perfect label to put it on, and that's what we did,
Gotcha. Nice.
Hey, Kenny, I got one more question for you. So you mentioned Alchemist earlier. Like, what other producers are you fucking with these days, hip-hop wise?
I like Al because Al, like, he does concepts, like I was saying earlier, you know what I mean? Like, he'll go to Russia and he'll do a whole project on Russian breaks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He'll go to India and do like same kind of stuff, and I like that. He's not scared to put his foot in something. You know what I mean? And that's we got to do that. We got to take chances. And you know what? People might not like it or they might like it, but at the end of the day, is people gravitate to things that are organic like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that shit's just got to be done.
I like his shit. I like this dark. It's booty. It's a little bit of everything. And plus he's done really big records and really a lot of underground stuff too. And then he's done stuff in the middle. You know what I mean? So he's one that I like now and keeps it funky. You know what I'm saying? But one of my biggest inspirations was Marley Marl. Back when I was starting, because he, just the way he manipulated samples and put things together, and back with the Juice Group back in the 80s, like that was it for me. That's what really got me into the drum programming and all that kind of stuff.
Oh. Kenny, I got one last one. How many aliases you up to these days, man? Is it 30, 40? What's the count?
Well, the whole, I'll tell you the story with that though. That wasn't because we wanted to do it. That was because, with certain labels, contractually, you couldn't use your name, on different, if you had things coming out. So, I learned that from Todd Terry. Like he's the king of the aliases.
Okay.
But I just kind of follow his footsteps, and we would do these different projects. But then it led into where it's like, all right, well, I want to flood. For the next 4 or 5 months, I want to flood the record store. So I want like 3 or 4 releases every week. You know what I mean? So then you couldn't put out 3 or 4 records, Kenny Dope records.
Right.
So it was always like Kenny Dope presents the Mad Racket, or Kenny Dope Powerhouse, or the House Syndicate, or it just came up with these different names. So you hit the record store hard, and the impact was hard too, because it was just like, wait a minute. If they look at the production credits, like, damn, he did that too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So after a certain point, it was just like, we just kept going with it. But initially it started as a contractual thing,
Okay.
What I mean?
Makes sense.
Because they wasn't allowing you to do all these, different records on the different labels and stuff like that.
No doubt. It makes sense.
Now, Kenny, how did you guys pull that off? Because, I mean, for you to pull off that many releases at the same time or sequentially or, like, I mean, making a record is not like, obviously, throwing up an MP3, on SoundCloud these days, man. Like, that takes a lot of planning to time that. If you're really...
You know what it was? It was... think about it. I'm 18, 19, 20 years old. It's 1989, it's 1990, 91 or whatever. And that's all I was doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was in the house, going to clubs at night, in the house, going to clubs at night, going to the block, going back in the basement, going to the avenue, going, working at the store. Like that was the movement.
Yeah.
For like 8 years straight. So I was just doing so many joints that I was just like, all right, so boom, it's time to put out this record. So then we would do like a house joint on one side and do a hip hop joint on the flip side. Because the other concept was, and this goes back to the store, was sales. So being around like what I was just talking about with Joe, it's just like, you learn the marketing side of things and the sales kind of things. Like, yo, you know what? If I could have two different types of people buy this record, that's double the sales. And at that time, people had to buy two records if they wanted to cut it. That's number one.
Right.
And then number two is if I had a house guy buy on one side and a hip hop guy buy on the flip side, that was double the sales as well too.
Yeah.
So that was the whole concept of that, you know what I mean? But, and then it became a point where it's just like, you know what, I'm going to put out this record. This has a certain sonic and sound to it. Okay. This record has reggae influence samples on it with hip hop or whatever. Boom. And then conceptually you were doing different things to keep the ear there. Not that everything sounded the same. So pretty much like I'm creating an album now, with different styles and different pockets. I was doing the same thing when I was a kid by putting out records that were different like that too, because it was just like, I'm just thinking of sales. I'm thinking about the store. I'm thinking about the consumer. I'm thinking about the DJs. I'm like, you know what? Oh, these DJ tools. And that's how the beat records came about.
Right.
Too as well, because I used to use those as segues in my sets.
Sure.
So I was like, you know what? Put this shit out. Like, why am I keeping it? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's how those things were. Like when I did the Blood Vibes record, that was made for Louis. Louis at that time was playing at Roseland in New York. And that club, he was playing freestyle music. He was playing hip hop. He was playing reggae. And he was playing a little bit of house, and he was playing breaks. So I was like, I need to bridge the gap. And that's how I came up with that record. You know what I'm saying? And he used to play that. That was his transition from reggae to hip hop. And at that time, Tribe had came out with Benita Applebaum. So that was a big record here in New York. And that's where that whole vibe came from. Nice. And One Blood was huge.
Man.
Junior Reed, One Blood was huge. Yeah, as well too. Big club record.
Yeah, man.
And forget it. It was over at that point. But a lot of those things started out as transitions. Those sample records like that,
Right. That's a hell of a perspective to have that young, Kenny. I mean, right?
Well, you know what? And the other thing is that there was nothing else. I knew that I didn't want to hang too much because I was going to end up getting into trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of my boys got into trouble. They were they're either dead now or in jail. You know what I'm saying? Half the dudes that I came up with, and then the other half, like, they're out there doing, working and stuff, and they got normal jobs and shit like that now. But I knew that the street thing wasn't going to go far. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't the way to go. And I wasn't digging the school thing. So I'm like, what else do you have?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what else do you have? Like, I wasn't gonna become a plumber. I wasn't gonna be fucking doing, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, I was like, nah, like music was there. I came up on music. You know, there was music in my family. My dad played a lot of music. My uncle played a lot of music.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just drawn to it. So I was like, this is it. This is what I got to do.
Yeah.
I got to figure it out. I got to make it happen. And, you know, and little by little, you know, I just kept working towards it. And then, you know, the styles developed, you know, and again, being in so many different pockets and growing up. And I think that was the most crucial thing is growing up in that melting pot with all the different types of people. It gives me all the different styles of music because I'm just seeing everybody's perspective. You know what I'm saying, and how they living and how they moving. And that's why, you know, and also not for nothing, like DJs at that time played everything. It wasn't so much that, not like now where, you know, you go to a reggae club, a party, and it's straight reggae, or you go to hip hop party and it's just straight trap and hip hop,
right?
Or you go to a house club and it's a house club. They'll play everything dance like disco, house, and classics and shit like that. Back then, DJs played across the board.
Oh yeah,
they just intertwined things. They took chances. So seeing that. That's all I knew. I'm like, okay, so we got to make, you know, I got an idea to make a record like this, boom, and I would do it. Got a record like this, boom, and I would do it. You know what I mean? Because there was no boundaries.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was just like you, again, back to the store, open mind, open mind, just, and you could touch so many different people. And then when you start getting, you know, these ASCAP checks and these publishing checks from all these countries that you can't pronounce, you're like, wow. Like, nah, for real. Like, on some real shit, like,
I know. Yeah.
Nah, like, you're like, that record went there, and you're saying, you know, I just threw that out, and I didn't really think too much of that. So then that teaches you a whole another side, is just like, you know what? You don't know what people are gonna like.
Yeah.
Just put all that shit out.
Just put it out.
You know what I'm saying? Just make sure it's coming from your heart and it's 1,000%. And you know, but put it out.
That's
because
real.
you just don't know.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Nothing's ever too old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just not what it is.
Wow.
You know, you can't hold on to all this stuff. You just can't. You just gotta let it go.
That's right.
You know, so that's the mindset. You know what I mean? And we kept it, and it's a formula, and it works. And same thing when you play music and you're in a club. You know, sometimes you're in a position where the promoter you know hired you for one style, but the club is there for something else.
Yeah.
So you know, DJs now is like they're playing that set, man.
Yeah, they stuck.
Got that set, and that's all they do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they stuck.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
You know, but it's just
Well, Kenny,
so Kenny, real quick, was your mom happy that you dropped out of high school? I guess it worked out for you, right?
Nah.
She's still
Puerto Rican mom. Shit.
Listen. In the beginning, and it's funny because we was just like I told you, we were just a PA, and my man that was with me, we touched on this real quick, and she was just like, she was, you know, like any other mother, like, you know, they want you to not be be in the street.
Yeah,
they want you to go to school and you know, go to college because that's what everybody was taught. You know, as kids, like, you know, this is what you got to do. This is the routine. But when I first told her, it's like she was heartbroken, man. She was just like, really? And I'm like, nah, I'm not going back. Like, I'm done. And I told her, I said, look, but this is what I'm gonna do. It's like, this is what my focus is, and I promise you, like, I'm gonna get there. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because she just said that, you know, yesterday. She was like, you know, he promised me, and he did it. He did what he said he was gonna do.
That's all. It don't get no better than that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
it's no better than that.
And that's one of the things. It's like that's those those morals are instilled in you when you're gonna do something and you say you're gonna do it, you do it. You knock it out.
Shit.
You know what I'm saying? No matter what it takes, you just got to get it done.
Hell
you know? And like going back to earlier, you know, there was a big lapse in years with the whole in between projects, but we got it done. And I think, you know, things happen for a reason sometimes.
Definitely.
And sometimes we don't know why these things happen, you know, and maybe if we would have dropped something in 2012 or 2013, the timing wouldn't have been right. And, you know, people in the game in the time of day, and that would have been it from there. You know, that's it after that. You know how it is when people just shut down. And it's just like, fuck that. We ain't fucking with them. Yeah. You know what I mean? So maybe this is, you know, for the reaction and everything, you know, maybe this is meant to happen the way it's supposed to happen.
Absolutely.
I don't fucking know, but it's just, you know, it's just one of those things that you just got to move with it and just keep rocking from now. You know, I think the biggest hurdle in my life was, you know, these last 3 years out of everything I've ever done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a big transition. Like, you know, you have 3 little people that you got to attend to, and you're like, how do you deal with it? Like, how you deal with not one being slighted or one not getting the attention? Like, so it was a big fucking, how you say it? Like adapting to it. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
it's a big job. It's like it's a big job. You gotta wrap your head around one. Not to mention, you know, we talking about triplets. Man, I couldn't, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, I got 3 daughters, 2 grandkids. All right. And there's a gap between my 2 younger daughters to my oldest. And it's just like, you know, I had one at a time. And that's a major shift in your life. So I could just imagine, like, did y'all know y'all were having triplets from like day one?
Nah. It was twins first, and then they were like, you know, third one might not make it, and you know, it was just like, so that was a whole stressful ordeal in itself, because you're back and forth to the doctor every week, and you don't know what they're gonna say, and sonograms and all that shit. So that was a mind twisted roller coaster in itself for that whole period.
Man, ain't no way to prepare for that, man.
So it's like that, and then, you know, when they're here, and then, you know, the world keeps moving.
Yeah.
So now, you know, I'm traveling in between that. Things got to keep going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's just been crazy.
Well, Kenny, man, you know, we appreciate you, man.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I know I'm blessed.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that I was, you know, that we pulled through it. And now it's just, you know, focusing on music again, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And I got a lot to do. I still feel I got tons of ideas, and I still feel like I have a lot to do in this business, and gonna keep going.
Nice.
That's it, you know?
Yeah. 4 years old is a sweet spot, Kenny. You hit the sweet spot, dude. You know?
What was that?
I said, if they're all 4 right now, your triplets are 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you hit a good spot, man. Hopefully they're all out of diapers. I mean, like 4 years old, 5 years old, man. That's a good spot to be in. You know, I'm sure those.
They're good, man.
Yeah,
they're all
exactly.
fucking potty trained. They're doing their thing.
There you go.
You in the house.
You know what I'm saying?
You in the house.
You know.
Good deal. All right.
Well, Kenny, we just scratched the surface tonight, man. So we need you to look at your calendar so we can get you set up for part 2, because we ain't really get all the way into it. You know what I'm saying? But man, we just appreciate your time. Thanks for calling us, man.
Nah, definitely. So where you guys at? You in Atlanta?
We in Atlanta, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Right. In an undisclosed location out in the suburbs.
Back and forth to Atlanta. What was that?
I said we in an undisclosed location out in the suburbs, but we're in Metro Atlanta for sure.
Well, I definitely want to dig in Atlanta, because I've never digged and I heard that shit there. So,
hey man,
that whole area,
you coming through, man? Holler at us, man. We got you. We know all the spots.
Yeah, we can make that happen, Kenny. You just let me know.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Because I was like I said, I was going to try to get down there last week, but it was just too crazy and it was impossible. I was just like, nah, I can't even do it. I was just going to actually show up and surprise them. But, cause I had a lot of people that went down, but I was just like, you know what? I just couldn't make it happen. So I just kind of fell back, but
that's what's
Can you imagine what would have happened? Can you imagine what would have happened now? Premier showed up, Finesse showed up, Large showed up.
Nah, those are all my people. Like, yeah. So
the fire marshal comes in and like, ladies and gentlemen, y'all ain't got to go home, but y'all got to get the fuck up out of here.
I tell you what, Kenny, if you had showed up, I might have had to shut the show down because there was too much greatness in one room. If something bad had happened in that venue,
man, we did not want that. We didn't want no fingers pointing at us, man. I'm telling you, man. That shit was overload, Kenny. I mean, we ain't never, and everybody in there was like, dude, we ain't never seen no shit like this in Atlanta, man. Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. That's dope.
Crazy.
No, but I think it's a great time for the music right now. The vinyl thing is definitely on its way, circling back around. People are putting together not a lot of good projects and packaging, and it's making it fun again. It looks, interesting on the merchandising side as well too. So things are looking up for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
And then you have these shows like yourself and different shows doing their thing and showcasing music, which is great. You know what I mean? So you got to keep doing that shit as well too.
Nice.
Kenny, you and Rasheed got a little treat dropping on vinyl too with Ill Bill and Vinny Paz kind of something or another, right? Isn't that what Rasheed told us on the interview, Meeks?
I can't recall right at this second. He did mention something was dropping in the near future.
Yeah.
Though.
You guys got vinyl dropping on First Pick, right?
That's on its way, and then there's something slick that we're actually putting together right now to add to the First Brick packaging as well too. So
okay,
nice.
As soon as I get them, we will send them down.
That's what's
check it out.
I cracked my CD open this week.
As soon as I get the master versions of whatever we're gonna do, then I'll send those as well too.
I cracked my first brick open this week, man. I salute to y'all again, man. It's thorough. The packaging is simple, but it's thorough. And again, man, we salute y'all, man. We got our eye on y'all, man. And as always, anything y'all trying to break or whatever the case may be, man, just get it to us, man. We'll put it on. It ain't no problem.
No, that's what's up, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you.
We appreciate you.
Kenny Dope, thank you, my brother.
Kenny Dope.
Wow. Crazy. Have a good
I'm
night.
here, man. We made the connection.
Yes, sir.
I'm around. I'm just, like I said, I'm a message away. So
yes, sir.
Whenever you guys want to chop it up, I'm here. So
yes,
just let me know.
That's what's up.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Best to you and
no
your
doubt.
families.
Have a great night, brothers.
Yes,
all
sir.
Right. Peace.
Peace.
All right, peace.
All right. Later.
Doe drum.
Hey,
Doe bombs. John Doe bombs. Just
hey man,
look,
we are the guard.
We are
the guard.
No one else.
Kenny Dope, Southern Vanguard Radio.
Yeah, man.
That's Meeks.
Yeah,
that's my
me.
man right there.
Yeah.
That's my man Meeks right there.
That's my big homie John Doe over there, man. I don't fuck with nobody else, man. Quiet as
we doing this shit, y'all.
Anything else you heard outside of that was some bullshit. That's my homie right there. DJ John Doe, Cappuccino Meeks, Southern Vanguard Radio, SouthernVanguard.com.
Smithsonian grade.
Guggenheim. We are the guard.
First brick out now.
Go get it.
Peace.
You will not be disappointed. Go get that shit. Peace, y'all.